So number one, what I tell people is if you want to get into vacation rentals, short-term rentals, there's two ways to do it that are pretty much given and you won't have any issues. Number one is go to an area where that's what it's been, that's all it's been, and that's what the market is. Like these resort areas where there are rental houses like I was at Outer Banks, North Carolina. That's all that beach is and has been, is a place for people to come rent homes in the summer. You have your West Coast destinations, you have your East Coast, you have your lake areas. So go to communities and areas where that's a thing, that's what it is, and that's all it is, and nobody cares because that's what you do. The other side is do short-term rentals that are not vacation rentals. So you're doing executive stays, you're doing traveling medical professionals, you're doing those types of things. That's different. And it's a short-term, maybe it's month to month, and you're just doing short-term rentals versus the Airbnb thing. And then you're not getting yourself in trouble. Now, obviously there are communities and associations where you can't rent properties out like by the week and by the weekend and things like that, but none of them will tell you can't rent it out monthly. So that keeps you out of trouble. You can still get premiums, and those are a little bit easier to manage a lot of times than a vacation rental because you're cleaning up after somebody every weekend. Your expenses are higher, a little bit more maintenance and management. But in a lot of areas, they can be very profitable where you can get a lot more income for the house. Like the Smoky Mountains, you had some really good ratios there for a while, but people have woke up to that market so that they're coming down. There were some areas on the Gulf Coast down in Florida where properties were cheap for the amount of rent you could get. But as more and more people find out about it, those yields compress. Again, the market's becoming more efficient, and cities and towns are trying to ban it in a lot of areas. They want to tax it. They want to get the income. You're competing with hotels. So areas like New York City, hotel industry has a vested interest to stop you. So don't fight it. Do short-term executive rentals or traveling nurses or whatever. Do vacation rentals where the areas, that's what they are. So nobody's going to try to stop you. Those types of things. The key is managing multiple properties. If you're trying to manage for others, you need a license in a lot of states. You want to watch out for that and those types of things. But it's a great business overall.
Yeah.
The biggest danger in Airbnb is what they call arbitrage. It's master leasing, where you lease a house from somebody and then you turn around, you lease it from an owner month to month. You pay them $1,500 a month. Then you turn around and then short-term rent it, either Airbnb, VRBO, or some other type of medium. So number one, short-term rentals are always more profitable than long-term. You can get more money short-term, turnkey furnished than you can long-term. They're a little bit more expensive to operate. And of course, that's the market I grew up in, where summer vacation homes, they were all short-term rentals. You had basically what we call the Sweet 16. You had 16 prime weeks where you made the bulk of your money. And then good properties would rent out for another 12 weeks. So you had 28 weeks a year max to 30 weeks a year that your house would rent based on off-season rentals and where you were located and all that. So it can be a good business, but that's where people get themselves in trouble, is they're committing to leases and trying to sublease out on the back end without owning the properties, which can be good until you get downzoned or a city decides to change its ruling allowing those rentals, or if you do it in a community where it's not approved and people think they can get away with it, or you do it in a building, a condo building where the association doesn't allow short-term rentals, and then you get caught and you're stuck in that lease. So there's a lot of roadblocks out there and landmines that people aren't aware of.